You know, I rarely say this about movies starring Matthew McConaughey, but this movie was pretty good. Kubo and the Two Strings. Kubo and the Two Strings is the latest movie from Leica. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And it's about a small kid named Kubo who lives with his mostly catatonic mother and who tells stories for a living. Specifically, he tells stories by magically manipulating origami and having them move on their own. He's also missing his left eye, as it was cut out by his grandfather, the Moon King. And he has to stay indoors during the night because if he goes outside, his grandfather will see him and will cut out his other eye. Well, the story really starts when he stays out at a graveyard too late to pay respects to his father, who died before the movie started, and he gets spotted by his evil aunts, who work for the Moon King. He then has to go on a journey to recover 2 pieces of mystical armor and a magic sword in order to defeat his grandfather. Along the way, he meets a monkey who's very proficient in swordsmanship, and a beetle who is an expert marksman with a bow, voiced by Matthew McConaughey. The story itself is actually pretty basic. It's just your usual fetch quest to stop the big bad guy. But what really made this story fun was the characters. I thought Kubo was a very lifelike child. He's rash, he's impulsive, he's curious, but he can also be very scared and unsure of what to do. We actually see a bit of character growth as he goes from being just a carefree child to being forced into the hero's role. And normally kid characters don't really catch my attention, but not once did I think that Kubo was being annoying or a brat or anything like that. He was a pretty well-represented kid. So with that in mind, I think he would actually reflect very well upon the younger targeted audience. Of course, a lot of the reason he came off as well as he did is because he had Monkey and Beetle to play off of. Monkey was a very protective maternal character who had been born out of a charm that Kubo's mother made for him, and who was brought to life by magic. She's the straight man to Beetle's more comical, do-what-you-want kind of character. She had several good lines, and a lot of the humor came out from her reactions to both Kubo and Beetle playing around. Beetle himself was both comical and strangely noble. He was a soldier who worked for Kubo's father, which actually really works out, because Kubo's father's sigil was a beetle. If you go into this with an open mind, then Beetle will probably be the funniest character for you. Especially because when the moment calls for it, he's a very impressive fighter. I mean, there's a moment early on that you get to see in the trailers where he shoots like 4 or 5 arrows, one straight into the shaft of the other one. And that's a little cliche. We've seen that in a number of movies, but what's funny about this is that he takes one look at that and says, huh, that's the first time I've ever been able to do that. And the animation's actually really good because he's able to use all of his arms when firing his bow. So that means instead of just pulling from a quiver and shooting, he already has the next arrow in his second set of arms. Speaking of the animation, as you would guess from the rest of Leica's movie line, this is all stop animation. And everything looks gorgeous. The character models all look really solid. The animation flows very well, especially in some of the more cinematic scenes with all the origami flying about, which you can see some examples of in the trailer. Just thinking of all the time and effort it must have taken to create and pose and shoot all of these models is staggering. Especially how impressive some of these fight scenes are. I also enjoyed the music, although none of it really stuck out in such a way that I'm still humming it days later. Now, overall, the movie isn't this bastion of originality. If you're paying attention, you will be able to see the twists coming. But that doesn't mean it's not enjoyable. Really, the characters are the best part about this whole thing. The fetch quest itself was a little convenient because all the items they needed they either stumbled upon by happenstance or was just there. But as I've said on record before, if the universe and the characters are good, I'll probably enjoy the story, which I did here. This is a great movie for a younger audience. It has a lot of good animation, it has a lot of good characters, it's a fun story for them, and there are a lot of good lessons for them to learn. The importance of family, the importance of courage, standing up and learning how to grow. Definitely see this one in theaters, and hey, consider buying it when it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray. See this movie because it's fun, see it because it's good for your kids, and see it because McConaughey's actually pretty good. Who knew?